Hello, George, Pet Ninja Food Forest, standing in the compost. This compost is about a week old. It's going to dive quickly, but we are at 140. Excuse me. We're at 140. I'd usually turn it before 7 days, and I'd have to look to be sure exactly where we're at, but it's over 5 days. So the inside of this is going to be free of weed seed and free of disease pathogens, pathways to disease. So now I'm going to turn this, not adding a whole bunch of moisture, but adding some moisture. I'm going to take the top, set it aside a little bit, take the middle that's already kind of hot, make it the bottom, then start taking what was the top and the outsides, I'm going to try to, and making it the middle and top here. So let's get started. To show how easy it is, we'll see how much life is in there. Here's a good example right here. That was growing out of its finished compost over there. Real gentle roots. Baby red wiggler, I don't know if it's making that out. There's the baby red wiggler. So, will not burn your plants. There's going to be a lot of red wigglers in this finished compost. They moved over here. So it goes through that thermophilic stage, the hot stage. And then I let it set as long as I can until I feed it to the worms. And in the meantime, some worms have moved in here from storing old compost systems out here, like we sell, the stackable systems. I used to store those on this in the wintertime for the heat to keep them warm enough. They migrated. So here we go. I'm going to start this. I'm going to add a little moisture. I'm just sharing this mic a little loud because I think we overcomplicate compost. We try it once or twice or something. Things don't work. We put it in a pile. Really, if you stick to a basic system, like all things, and you stay pretty close to that, it works out. So we use 1 green to 2 browns. Nitrogen to the carbon. Just trying to stack that in layers. Food scraps are greens. Fresh cut grass and what garden waste is greens. Straw, leaves, wood chips are going to be browns as long as they matured a little bit. All have different amounts, so that's why I do the 2/3 ratio. So our straw from the chicken house would be maybe neutral, just what we want, because the chickens have been pooping on it, so they're bedding. I'm talking too much. Here we go. Let's have a look. Make sure everything's moist. I think I see another, might just be a peep or a bean plant. I pulled quite a few turmeric out of here. Must have changed some soil out. I'm gonna stack it here. So again, I'll take this top that hasn't been hot enough and set it here. Some of the sides. This right here, we can see the steam coming off, and all that white is that actinomyces. That's a bacteria, not a fungus. That's a good sign, actually. I don't believe that's ammonia. Or it's a form of ammonia. Modification, then nitrification. But it's the bacteria involved with it. It's just warm, hot to the touch. We can see there's coffee grounds there. That layer must have been where I dumped our food scraps. Some of the food scraps that were in there. A lot of nitrogen in that area. Again, all that white. All those wonderful bacteria breaking things down for us, making it available for the worms, and the worms add all that nutrient, minerals, and other wonderful bacteria to it for the garden. Make it plant available nutrition. Okay, now we're down to the inside. I'm gonna shake that over here. Looks fairly moist, but some of the straw is dry. So we're gonna let moisture be our friend. You can see the steam coming off. I don't know if you can see all this over here. Doesn't take a lot. I don't want to. A lot of this is water soluble. We don't want to lose those nutrients. Try to keep taking from the inside here. See how white all that is? Breaking it up. Baked apple, anyone? You see it's cooked right through. It came out of an oven, it's hot. More food scraps, another apple or pear. I'm playing on my food. It's kind of fascinating to touch it, feel that heat in it. You know, 140 degrees, whatever it is now. Got some more woody material in there, hard to get out. So now I've got most of the center of the pile. I can still see the signs of heat. It's cool enough I can see worms over here. And they'd leave if it was too hot. Try and get a little more of that inside, then I'll take this top and the outside and finish the pile. See, I'm shaking it and breaking it up, getting lots of air in there. Again, it's a little dry. I want to make sure I add moisture. See plastic while I'm going, try and get it out. Oh, that was a donut box. Apple cinnamon pastry hoops. The box can stay. I got a sweet tooth. So there's more woody stuff down here, hasn't broken down. I'll try and keep it as deep as I can. Try and tuck that under a little bit. Should have been shredded a little better. Now we'll take this top. Should have thrown it earlier. The top again, oops. Should have been, I should have taken this and added it in the middle. I got talking, not paying attention. So it'll happen next time. So I should have added that when I got to the middle part. Add moisture. A little more cleanup on the edge there, and we'll call that done. Plant tags. All right. So from down deep and on the edges, we're cooled enough. There's worms in there, lots of red wigglers. Oh, how long's that camera been sideways? See if that worked. A little bit of workout, not too bad. We feed that to the worms on. There's worms in it, but then we take it into a composting system inside. As long as it's cooled, it can be used. And every stage of that has, catch my breath, different organisms, different levels of the organisms. All the same organisms usually, mostly good guys. We're looking for bacteria, fungus, amoeba, protozoa, nematodes, and microarthropods. That's the levels of the food chain. Depending on the age of that compost, how long it's sat, it's going to start heavy with those bacteria, breaking it down. As it's hot, like we saw, it's all white. It's mostly bacteria. And as it cools, it's going to let the fungal strands that were in there, spores that were in there, multiply and spread. As those bacteria reach peak numbers, the higher orders of the food chain are going to feed on them. So the more mature compost is going to have more of those, I believe we'd say flagellates, some of the flagellates. The amoebas too, the protozoa, the nematodes, stuff like that are going to be in there. I'm just talking on my butt now. I don't know what I was going to say. Change is better than a holiday. That's not left for perfection, but let's just start making the needed changes. Got a little bit of a funk yesterday reading some of the denialism. I didn't think anybody was denying it anymore, but somebody's come along and, oh, it's not warming, or it's not warming that bad, or it's always done it. It's fascinating. Folks, we're in a whole bunch of trouble about being a doomer. Let's make it fun. Let's talk about these solutions. This isn't the solution. There isn't a solution. I don't even truly believe there are solutions at this point. I mean, we're in for a hell of an awakening. How are we going to come out the other side depends on our actions now. Inspiring those next generations, remembering forgotten ways, doing that with many of the advances we've learned, and things mankind has educated itself with in the meantime. All that soil food web, talk of that bacteria, fungi, all that. Elaine Ingram made all that popular 10 years ago. That's only 10 years old, understanding all that. We used to till everything and think tilling was the way to go, till and add compost. We don't till this because that fungi is one of the most important ones in there. Once we use that compost in our gardens, we want that fungi to explore, search out. Then it transports nutrients for us, mostly in bacterial form. Hi, sis, you wanted to come in, huh? That's slug patrol. Okay, you can come in for a minute. Look out. So working with nature, not against it. Duck, 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 duck. Where's your sisters? Chowing something already, aren't you? Using perennials along with our annuals. Stacking functions in multiple layers. Here I go again. Change is better than a holiday. I'm George. Bat Ninja Food Forest. Peace.